Alright folks, today I'm going to be doing a video about my M1200 12 gauge shotgun. On one of my M1200 videos, it's this one, hold on here, Winchester M1200 shotgun, trying out 12 gauge birdshot ammo. So I tried universal 12 gauge birdshot through it, but I had a viewer by the name of General Assassin ask me, said, how do you tighten the forearm? I'm assuming, well, I do know what he means by that. He's talking about this part right here, this wood part. He's asking how you tighten that up. The old M1200, mine specifically, is a fickle beast. And I say that because the previous owner, who owned it before I did, had, I don't know what went down, but when he would take it apart, he may have had the same issue. But what he did was he basically tightened this forearm here, the pump. He tightened this ring here down on it as hard as he could and basically merged the two into one piece. So now I can't take my forearm off. And I'm assuming this is more, I mean, this is a VR, but this is actually kind of more of a, you know, asking other people who own the shotgun kind of the same question. I'll go ahead and take it apart and you know, just show you guys what I'm talking about when I said they threaded that in the way. Alright, got my camera set up on the tripod now. I've never taken my M1200 apart on camera before, and it has been a while since I have disassembled my M1200. Simply because I have not shot him. Oh lordy. Last time I shot him was like back in June or July, I think. But how I disassemble mine is I take a rag. Now I'll go ahead and show. By the way, it's unloaded. As you can see here, whoever owned it before I did a very gnarly, almost haphazardly sloppy job taking this dude apart. I mean, see here where I used channel locks. I use channel locks too, but he would take them and put them on the bare metal and start twisting. That's just, you know, that's left all those big awful gashes and stuff. And I mean, yeah, it's superficial. And this is a, you know, I knew what I was getting into when I bought it used. But I do it differently. I take a rag and wrap around the end here. And I may move the camera up closer so you all can see better. In fact, I'll do that. Alright, I'm going to have to stand this outfit up and take it apart. There we go. Alright, so what I do with my M1200 is I take this rag here and I wrap around the end here so that way I'm not adding more teeth marks to my shotgun barrel or shotgun cap here. Let me get this the way it needs to be now. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I took apart my old M1200. Those channel locks do not want to cooperate. Let's see. There we go. You go that way. Alright. So I'm going to take the cap off here. Better hold it down here by the receiver. Alright. So once you break that seal, after you've got it loose, it just comes loose. It makes kind of like a clicking sound for a little bit because it's got like a little ball bearing. There's the cap. Set over there, and it's got this, like, see, ball bearing right in there. See that little knob? That's like a ball bearing that, that creates clicks. It locks it in there. Alright, I'll move the camera in close and show you how I take the barrel off, or how you take the barrel off on this 12 gauge. Alright, the old barrel. Now the old bolt, as you can see here, I'll kind of scoot this up real slow so that way I'm not messing anything. The old bolt has already pushed the barrel, that way. So I'll show you how it looks when it's fully intact. It looks like that when it's fully intact, but see that spring there? Get him to go back. That's the bolt pushing that forward. Alright, so got him loose like so. See the old barrel came out. You just take the barrel and push him out like that. But there's the old M1200 barrel. Mine was cut down by the previous owner. It is now a cylinder choke. As you can see here, let me find it right here on the old barrel. On the barrel, it was at one time a full choke until the previous owner got a hold of it, which is fine because he did a really good job rebeading the front of the barrel, so I'm not complaining. Let me look at the sandpaper here. Set the barrel like that, and here's the bolt. You can kind of, I better take the trigger group out too because that's preventing the bolt from riding forward. Alright, the old trigger group on the Winchester M1200 is held in by this pin right here. And the way you take it out is you push this pin this way. Push it in this way and it comes out this way. And then you put it back in with this pin. You put it back in on this side because it's kind of like oblong, like it's thinner on this end and bigger on this end. Like there's only a certain way you can put it in. Spent a lot of time when I first bought this shotgun trying to put that pin back in, and just absolutely just like burning my own ass, getting mad, wondering why that wouldn't go back in. I was like, what did I do wrong? And there's only just one way that it will go in to the receiver. So I got like a little, kind of looks like a dentist tool, but it's not. It's like a curved pointed end for picking that stuff, and I'm just going to simply push this pin, kind of get there on the, like that, just push him in, and then there's the old pin on that side, and you just take him on out. Now the trigger group, I'm going to set the pin right here. The trigger group can be I can't remember exactly. I think taking him out's easy. Yeah, taking him out's easy. Putting him back in's hard. So he kind of turns out like this. You just saw there, and he just comes on out. And this is the M1200's trigger group. See, it's on safe right now, and that is fire. Red's fire, black safe. Draw bar. I'll let y'all see what the hammer looks like down too. Okay. There's the hammer. Bring it back. Watch that trigger reset. It's got a really light reset. Yep. But that's the trigger group for the M1200. Now I get to the part, I'm getting to the part of the disassembly that I can't do no more. And it's for the reason for it's because of what the previous owner did. And I will show you guys what he did. Alright, I just kind of perused another disassembly video on my phone. How to take the M1200 apart. Quickly perused it. The handguard, and this is why I can't take my handguard off. I'll show you why. Alright, so if you can see there, see right here, there's a threaded area for this cap. You know, this cap's supposed to thread on down. Well, what the last owner did, so you can see here too, the handguard, the pump, he drove this pump up onto them threads, like the whole physical wood, like it's all one piece now basically. He drove the pump up onto those threads and then retightened this down back on it. And now this is all one piece, and I cannot get this ring here to come loose. Watch the viewer in the video, what he did to take this ring off of his shotgun, his M1200, is he took a nylon dowel rod, like a little small nylon dowel rod, and he put it in like this notch right here and pecked it around this way, and this loosened this cap off of those threads, and then in turn he could take this pump clear off of the choke here, or not the choke, the feed tube, my bad. And then, you know, to put it back on, put the pump back down on the forearm, back down onto the feed tube here, and then tap the nylon dowel rod back around the other way to tighten this cap back down onto the pump forearm. But I cannot do that because, and trust me, I have tried to tap that around this cap here. I've tried to tap that around and it just won't work, and I am afraid to mess with it too much because of how far up onto the threads this forearm has went. Like this wooden forearm is now dug into those threads, and I am afraid if I get to pecking around and, you know, trying to twist this off, I may crack this forearm down the middle or on the side here and break it, and then there I will be with a shotgun that no longer has a functioning pump, or that one that's been compromised physically because of abuse. And I'm afraid if it splits and cracks that it'll eventually, you know, deteriorate, break off of there, and then getting an aftermarket for it would be a pain in the ass. Because I've looked up aftermarket parts for the M1200. I even envisioned at one point getting a scope mount specifically for this model. It had like a Weaver style pick rail from like the 1980s or something that went up here for a red dot. I've seen pictures of it, but finding one for sale was a pain in the butt. Same with all the other little pieces and stuff for this. So my answer to General Assassin, he has an M1200, is what you do after you disassemble it to take this cap off. You know, take this cap off, unscrew it from that, and then, you know, get the handguard where you need to, and then tighten this back down on it as tight as it needs to go. That way it's in the, you know, it's as tight as you need it to be. Because from his question, he said, he sounded like he said it was loose, like it was loose and like wobbling on here. So I just take this cap off and then, you know, put this pump back on properly, and then screw this cap back down on top of it till it's tight. But don't do what the previous owner of this shotgun did, and that's force this pump up onto the threads and basically get it stuck there, and then just put it back together like it's a-okay. Because now I can't get my pump off my M1200. The saving grace of it all is, though, I'll pan the camera up. I'll just move the camera real quick. The saving grace of it all is, though, despite that one little problem there that I can't resolve, I am still able to clean my M1200 basically down to, like, you know, do a full clean on it. I can take a brush and, you know, patches. My camera keeps shaking, I'm sorry. I can take a brush and patches and run through the bore, run through the shotgun bore, so I can clean the barrel. Set that back down. I can get up and under the receiver and, you know, clean all this out with a patch and oil. I even keep grease on the rails here. See, there's these pump rails for the pump that manipulate the bolts. See, I can even move the bolt out like this. There's the bolt for the M1200. And as you can see up in here, when I pump this back, see them rails there? It's right there at the end of my finger. They ride up in here in this receiver, and I take like Remington grease, yellow Remington grease I use for my M1A receiver, and I kind of coat that in there. See, I got some on my finger. It's got a little dirt on it. That's from that flashbang grenade I shot out of it on New Year's. But I rub grease up in there on them rails, out here on the rails as well, and then I grease the bolt back here into the bolt carrier. See, it's got the bolt carrier. It's spring loaded as well. See, I'll try to manipulate it. See, I grease that as well. I grease that point, and then I oil the bolt and grease the sides of it up along top of them rails as well. I keep all that greased, and then I clean the inside of all this. I wipe it out with a rag and take some oil in there, and then I put grease on stuff. So I can still clean my M1200 fully, despite not being able to completely take it apart, which is a blessing. So even though the previous owner goofed it up essentially, where I can't take this pump off, and, you know, and there is a thing that you need to do, that you can take the bolt apart too. I watched in that video that you take a screwdriver, a flathead, and unscrew that screw there, and that holds the bolt carrier to, like, these two pumps here. That way, like, you know, that, because that allows you to manipulate the bolt while you're shooting and pump it, but that holds the bolt carrier to that for this action. And I can't, you know, I can't take that apart, because in order to take all that out of there, that forearm's got to be off. So, but I do what I can with what I've got. And even though I can't disassemble my M1200 fully, I do the best I can, and, you know, just make it work, because that's all I got. Well, anyway, I'll put this back together, show you how I put it back together, and wrap this video up.